Whether it be the YouTube comments section, or Facebook, or Twitter, Reddit, Comic Vine, or Versus Wiki, whatever you want to use, you might have seen really toxic fandoms. It could be the Dragon Ball fandom, the DC and Marvel Comics fandom, and of course, the most infamous of them all, the One Punch Man fandom. It can basically be a video talking about, Saitama or Goku, Superman. There's always that one person that will say, oh yeah, Saitama is unbeatable. They can one-shot every single opponent imaginable. But before we actually begin, let's play a little game, alright? Checkmark if you've seen any of these arguments. 1. Saitama is a gag/limitless character. 2. Saitama can one-shot anyone and can punch with the force of a Big Bang. And my favorite one, which is by far the most idiotic of them all, is Saitama's narrative is to never lose a battle, and if he doesn't do that, it is contradictory to his own narrative. So at the end of this video, you guys will not only be relieved after, being healed from your infections that you might have obtained from the YouTube comments section, but you will also be able to effectively fight back against the plague of idiots on the YouTube comments section. But anyways, let's go ahead and begin. Now, I'm not gonna really get into the feats because we've all been here before. I've made many videos on this already and it's been done to death, but let's just do a recap. Saitama's best feat was punching away a planet surface level attack, possibly a planetary level 1 going by a little guide and by the anime, and at best, a star level attack going by the little guide from the Saitama Blu-ray. So that is the best that we've seen from Saitama. There's no universal punching, there's no destroying time and space, none of that. That's his best feat thus far. But here's the important part though. When deciding the outcome of a versus battle, the vast majority of the time, feat scaling guides and other supplementary information is needed to actually determine who would win. But you cannot nitpick when to use narrative and when to not use narrative. And I'll explain what I mean by this later on. Let's go over the very first argument, which is that Saitama is a limitless character. Now, what they think it means is that, oh yeah, he's omnipotent, he has unlimited power, he can defeat anyone. But they don't understand the context behind this. So what they really mean in the series and the manga and of course the webcomic is that Saitama has limitless potential because he broke his limiter, which is what impedes someone from progressing, because there is a point where a person can cap and they can't get any more powerful. But people have been able to do this in real life as well, where they train and they at a point are able to surpass their own limits and get more powerful. So basically the trade-off was that Saitama went bald in return of getting a lot of power and breaking his limiter. But you know who else has limitless potential? Goku and Vegeta, or the Saiyans in general, because the more they trained, the more they fought, the stronger they became, which is why Goku, when he was fighting against Jiren, he continuously got so powerful that he surpassed his fusion counterpart from the Goku Black arc without Ultra Instinct. And Vegeta has also repeatedly stated that Saiyans have no limits, and by this they mean that they can get more powerful over time. Superman can also grow continuously stronger by absorbing solar radiation. So with an OPM fanboy's logic, Goku and Superman can defeat anyone because they are also quote-unquote limitless. Saitama isn't even the only character in the series to break his limiter, because in the webcomic it was heavily implied that Garu, his limiter was also broken or was somewhat shattered, and it could also be argued that Boros' limiter also broke when he obtained his meteoric burst state. But because Saitama never stopped training, after being able to break it, he was able to defeat Boros, and this was even revealed in a Q&A. So the point is that having limitless potential does not equate to having limitless power, and that is what people really need to understand. Otherwise, Goku and Superman and a bunch of other characters in animes or comic books would also have this, quote-unquote limitless power, when that is not the case at all. But anyways, let's go ahead and dive into the best argument, which is the narrative standpoint. Okay, so basically the narrative argument is that Saitama can overcome any obstacle and can defeat anyone because it is in his narrative to never lose, otherwise it would contradict his character. However, what the people, want to argue that Saitama can beat anyone don't realize is that Saitama is not the only character that you can also make this argument towards, because there is a lot of other characters that also have a narrative that could imply they can beat anyone. So let's begin with the most common example, Goku. We see that it is within his narrative to constantly get stronger and can surpass virtually any opponent he fights off against, even if they were far more powerful at the start, which is why we saw this with Jiren, Hidden Frieza, and many other characters that, Goku was, weaker than at the very start of the match, and then as the battle progressed, he got a lot more powerful. Now with Cell and Buu, Goku did want Gohan to surpass him, and he was like, you know what? I don't really need to defeat him. Gohan can do it. He's going to take the mantle. That is what he planned originally. And then with Fat Buu, he could have defeated him, and as well with the Bura and other characters like that. But he said he wanted the new generation to also, take the mantle and to defeat the enemies themselves. But regardless, it is in his narrative to surpass his rivals and masters, and even though Beerus was quite far above Goku, he was finally able to surpass him at the end of the series. So if we're gonna go with that narrative example, then Goku can just surpass any of his opponents and defeat them. Even like, oh yeah, let's put up the Living Tribunal against Goku. Goku's narrative is that he will be able to surpass the Living Tribunal and become more powerful than him. Like, that is like the narrative, which makes no sense. Now, let's go with a much better example. The Master Chief from Halo. Now, for those that haven't really read the Halo novels, which are way better than Halo 5, I mean, almost anything is better than Halo 5, you might be surprised that John 117 is by far from being the strongest, the fastest, or even the smartest Spartan around, because it has been implied that other members of Blue Team and other Spartans as well were right up there in the leadership roles, and I believe Kelly was implied to be the fastest one, and Frederick was also implied to, have really good leadership roles as well. But the main reason that John was seen as the best Spartan overall was because of his luck. Now, the novels and the games alike give us a lot of exposition on how Master Chief, like his greatest asset, is his luck. Cortana, Halsey, for example, they state this several times. And I can give you guys some examples from the novels. So take a look into First Strike, which came out after, well, actually takes place after Halo 1, when the installation 04 actually blows up. And the Master Chief is basically on a longsword ship where he is, waiting for backup, so people can pick him up. And Cortana even states to the Master Chief, yeah, it might take days or weeks for us to be found. But then with their luck, they were able to find another ship that was scanning for them as well. Let's go into Halo 2, for example. So there was basically this bomb that was placed on a UNSC ship. And once Chief got to the bomb and deactivated it, he was like, how much time was left? And Cortana was like, you don't want to know. So basically, with extreme luck, he barely made it, like, I believe 7 or 10 seconds before it blew up. And then that is when he delivered it to the other Covenant spaceship. And we even see that in Halo 3, during the opening sequence, Cortana says, yeah, like, the reason I chose you was because you had one thing that the others really didn't have, which was luck. Now, there are numerous examples I can get into from the games and especially the novels, but essentially, Chief always seemed to find exactly what he needed, whether it be a weapon, a vehicle, or even like a group of allied forces would come to his aid if the situation got too hazy. So, with narrative, you can bring up the Living Tribunal, you can bring up Goku, or even Saitama against the Master Chief, and because of my narrative, the Chief would be able to win because his narrative is to have extreme luck and to essentially get out of virtually any combat situation, and even in the most gravest of circumstances, the Chief has been able to get out of it alive and win. Another example, you can bring up Issei from High School DxD, which is a really child-friendly anime, I'd have to say. The main character, Issei, has a harem and he's like this big perv, and he literally gets power-ups from touching the female character's bosom. So, due to his obsession with girls and their chest, he would gain immense power to his sacred gear, which has a power of a red dragon. And throughout the manga and the anime, Issei has never lost a battle after getting like a booby power-up. So with narrative, Issei could defeat the one above all, Saitama, or virtually any character because his narrative is to never lose after getting some close contact, if you get what I mean. So what is the most logical thing to bring up in a versus debate? Feats. It's a no-brainer. Logically, Saitama would be able to defeat the Master Chief and Issei through feats and scaling. But here's the thing, if you want to use feats and scaling, then one would be conceding that Superman and Goku would be able to shitstomp Saitama because they have better feats. So then when the OPM fanboys say, oh, because his narrative is to never lose, that's fine. Go ahead. You can imply Saitama can defeat Goku and Superman, but then you'd be conceding that Saitama could be defeated by Master Chief or Issei because their narratives don't allow them to lose either, or they can somehow plot a win out of their ass. So essentially, you cannot nitpick when only feats or only narrative applies, otherwise you have really idiotic results. So yeah, the Master Chief can defeat Goku with his narrative because of luck. There are many more examples, there's many more characters who this can be applied towards, but you guys get the gist of it, I hope. In conclusion, if you guys ever see any grandstanding cucks on YouTube or any other social media platform that tries to claim that my narrative and Saitama can beat anyone, point them towards this video, and if they are open to discussion, I will accept with open arms. I actually hope this helps you guys out in your daily struggles on the YouTube comments section, because it's like, it gets pretty hectic out there, man. But thanks for watching. I really hope you guys enjoyed. Help your boy get to 40K. I really appreciate it, and I'll catch you thotties next time. Peace out.